Yes, yes, Mr. Billy Brown. How you doing, brother?
Hey, how are you guys? Good to be here
Yes.
again.
That's what, number three, yeah?
Yeah, yeah.
Number three. Probably not the
It's
last one either, man. That's cool.
I hope not. It's rainy here today a little bit, so I had to do it inside.
You see, well, today we stole the sun from you and you stole the rain from
Yeah,
us. Keep the rain, bro. It's fine. Because we got it all the time, man. Fuck. Today we got a nice bit of sun and it's enjoyable.
yeah. Is it
Yeah.
is it cool down there
I
still?
know,
Or
no,
what?
today it's pretty warm. It's pretty fucking. I just seen a helicopter, just army helicopter, just passed.
They
It's
come and
pretty.
get you. They come and get you.
And I said it's weird. They're like, "Fuck, Julian is talking to Billy. Let's go and get him." No, yeah, it's pretty warm today. Pretty warm,
Yeah,
man. I was outside a couple of times, man. So it's enjoyable. It's not. It's not usually like that. Manchester is the rainy, grey place, you know.
all the
So
time.
one of the reasons that makes me want to just get the fuck out of here eventually. I want to go to the sun, to the sunnier place eventually. You know what I mean? So we'll
Hey,
see.
how far are you from all of the Ripper murders where that
Oh, what?
occurred? Huh?
How far am I from what?
The Ripper murders?
The
Jack the Ripper?
Oh, Jack the
Yeah,
Ripper.
yeah.
Was it not London, Jack the Ripper?
I think so, London. So you're not how far are you
No,
from
no, no. So Manchester is more north. It's northern.
you?
You can hear it from the accent of the Englishmen and women. You know what I mean? We've got a different accent here. I lived in London. I lived in London for about 2, 3 years when I first arrived altogether. About maybe 2 years, 2.5 years. Uh, I liked it at first, and then when I've seen the other cities, yeah, I thought to myself, "Fuck, London is shit. London is not as nice because people are not nice. People are bumping into you in the metro, not saying sorry. Nobody's got time for you. Nobody cares in London. Do you know what I mean?
And the bloody history that place has.
Oh,
God.
mate, do you know that London is the most haunted
Oh
city in
yeah,
the
no doubt.
world?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, mad, isn't it? There's so many decapitations, so many deaths, so much killing. You know,
That's crazy.
madness, madness. So, do you know what? One thing I'd love to speak about today. I mean, we'll speak about a lot of stuff. I know that people are expecting us to speak about Jeet Kune Do as well, which is our thing. So we'll definitely get to that. But as I was saying to you, Bill, and I know you work a bit of CQB as well. I know you have a few programs and stuff that you teach. Uh, I've been involved with that stuff. With what's up with your wrist?
Oh man, I hurt constantly. I
Yeah.
got bad arthritis, carpal tunnel.
Oh,
Sometimes it
shit,
flares
man.
up.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
starting to get that mate of
I,
edge.
I used to I used to hit a lot of stuff, stupid
Yeah,
stuff I probably shouldn't be
that's what it is. So
you
yeah,
know?
I was saying, so stuff I was involved with my father when I was younger, and we were providing training for the military in Eastern Europe was CQB, you know, firearm drills and things like that. And I've not done any live for years now, for quite a while, because where I used to go for that was Ukraine, and now Ukraine, you know what's happening in Ukraine, so
Oh,
I
uh,
can't yeah, I can't go and do my shooting over there anymore. I might have to go to Poland or Serbia. I know people in Serbia as
so
well.
you can own guns in those places?
So, what do you mean? In Eastern Europe, it's much easier. Yeah, it's the
Yeah.
UK really hates the gun laws here. Is absolutely fucking anal, mate. They don't like it. If they hear gun over the phone, like you'll have the armed response on your doorstep in the next like 5-10 minutes. They're rapid. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's bad. It's really really bad in here. So the best thing you can do here, obviously, if you like training with firearms the way that I do, is airsoft. Airsoft, and now in terms of airsoft, now if you put the price, if you buy stuff and you got a budget, you put enough money in there, then you can get some pretty decent enough kit that
Yeah.
is very very it's practically a replica of the real thing, except that it shoots little BBs. So I'm not even bothered. I don't really do airsoft. In fact, maybe I should do a bit more, but it's really to work on my dry fire drills. So like I said to you, the mag changes, the tactical versus emergency reload, the transition from carabin to pistol, drawing my draws and moving, footwork draws and draw the blade and then and then draw the gun.
Good
That
stuff, man.
sort of thing, man. So in this country, that's the best you can do.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
obviously, you guys are lucky because you got some of the best experts in the world.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
because you legally, I mean, depending on the state, can you carry guns in your state where you live?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. You know, I'm one of these people
Every
that
state I've ever lived in.
yeah.
I started carrying a gun on my 21st birthday. I lived in
Okay.
Louisiana, and in Louisiana, you had to have a permit to conceal it,
Yeah.
but you can do something they call open carry.
Yeah, open carry.
Now, I'm against open carry, but back then when
Yeah,
I
it's
didn't
the
have
point.
a permit, what I would do was I would wear all black, and I had a black SIG at the time and a black low in the waistband holster. You could barely see that much of it, and that's
Yeah.
considered legal. So
Yeah, because it's still
nobody ever even noticed I had it on.
You see,
You know?
that's one thing I've noticed about the American as well, is that you guys are really, really good when it comes to conceal and carry. Like, you know, like you see some. I've seen some pictures of like some guns are pretty big. Do you know what I mean? You're like, fuck, how can you actually conceal this? I mean, some guys are really, really good at concealing that stuff, isn't it? And I think it's due to it depends on the type of holsters. You got some Kydex
And it depends on
holsters
your
that-
body type. Like I love appendix carry, but I can't do it comfortably all day because I'm a little bigger guy.
Yeah.
A really super lean guy can drive a car in appendix. I can't drive a car in appendix carry.
Yeah,
It hurts too much, you know what I mean?
Yeah. But you have to be able to get to it as well. Like,
you know,
hello.
as far as the guns go, or the concealed carry goes, I think it's more important accessing it, and that's what people tend to not train. They don't train clearing the garment. They don't train getting their hand, you know. So I think I think once people, this is what happens. Once people go to that horrible gun course that we have here, the CCW course, okay? It's horrible. It's shit. They go through it. They get the little paper. They shoot 8 hours at a square range. They get the little paper. Get down. They get the little paper, and then they think they're gunfighters.
Yeah. There's a big difference between shooting in the range and actual like dynamic, you know, shooting, like warfare shooting.
Yes, big difference.
Yes, you know what? One thing that you said that's very interesting is the access, drawing and learning to draw the gun.
With the blade. Wherever you carry blades, I carry up to 3 blades sometimes.
Yeah.
I carry a folder. I usually carry a small like utility blade, you know, where I can cut up a box or something, and I carry a fixed blade.
A fixed blade, yeah.
Wherever you carry, because in my state you can carry a sword. You can literally go outside, carry a sword, and nobody will. You know,
that's good. You know, I've always said that a weapon is not a weapon. The real weapon is the intention to cause deadly harm. You know, the weapon is the mind. Like you could have a gun on that table. You know, just put that gun on that table. It's not going to kill anyone. It's not going to do anything wrong to anyone until somebody with ill intention decides to pick it up and do something. So
in America, they think we got ghost guns that just walk around killing people.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
you know, they blame it on it's easy to blame on the guns.
Yeah, no, you don't. That's not the gun. It's like dogs. You know, it's like people. These are angry dogs or dangerous dogs. No dog is dangerous. Some dogs are bigger and stronger, yes, and they pose a threat if they are taught the wrong way. But they're not the threat. The threat is the owner.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So we're very blessed. There's lots of things about America that, like you said earlier, some days you want to move from where you're at, dude. I look at my wife sometimes. I'm like, let's move to Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
You know, let's move to And then I think about it. We have it made here. We really do. Even with the bullshit and the constant bullshit, we have it made here as far as rights and laws and the right to defend ourselves. Because violence and chaos and evil doesn't care where you live. It doesn't care about geography. It cares about doing what violence and chaos and evil does.
Yeah.
So it can find you anywhere. So I think the right to bear arms should be very, very important in everywhere. And it's sad when I hear that it's not.
I know, it's crazy. You know, that's one thing. Like, I believe that everyone should have the right to arm themselves in order to defend themselves. Because at the end of the day, criminals do carry, regardless of the law, regardless of what the law says. Criminal don't give a shit, so they will
All
carry.
all laws do is stop the good people who follow laws from protecting themselves.
Yes,
Everybody else will do
exactly.
it regardless.
Exactly.
You know
And
what I
that
mean?
when you think about this is crazy, man. This is absolutely crazy, man. And I grew up. My father, my father was in the forces, and I always, when I was growing up, there was always guns and knives at home because my father always had guns and knives everywhere. That
Yes.
was just
Yeah.
part of our mentality at home. He was making his own. He had his machine to make his own ammunitions, and
Oh, he was reloading? Awesome.
yeah. He was doing his own thing. My father even wrote a book on ballistic.
Oh, wow.
I'll ask him if he's got a copy of it in English, and I'll send that to you if you want. Yeah,
Oh, yeah, man. That'd be
he's
great.
wrote a book on ballistic years and years ago, like when he
Does
was in
he
the went.
still shoot or anything or what?
No, not anymore. So I've seen my father not long ago. After 10 years not seeing him, I've seen him. I was in holiday in France. When was that? Last week, the week before. Went to see my father, my grandfather, met my little
Uh-huh.
brother for the first time. And so what my father does now, he's still in the teaching, but he's kind of cooled down. He's not in the police forces anymore. He's not in the military anymore. He's in the, how do you call that? It's like a security consulting in the European Parliament.
He's a contractor. He's a contractor. He's a
Sort of,
private
but
contractor.
it's still for the European Union, so it's not
Oh,
private. He
oh,
doesn't
okay.
he doesn't have his own private company like he used to do at some point when I was growing up with him. Now he's doing it for the European Union, but he still teaches like the bodyguards and security operatives and all sorts, but a bit less of the physical bit now. He's much more into the
Yeah.
into all the theory and all
That's
that
what's
stuff.
most neglected. You know,
Of course, it's neglected, mate.
that's one thing that I the first time I started discovering Lee Morrison, it
Yeah,
wasn't his it wasn't his technique that amazed me because I got good technique too. It wasn't his
yeah,
explosiveness. I got good explosiveness too. It wasn't
yeah,
the speed and ferocity. I got that too. It was the way that he talked mindset through it all.
yeah,
He was the only one doing it.
yeah.
I mean, Jeff Thompson, yes, but I'm talking about Lee. Lee was a pioneer to the new generation. I feel like.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, yeah.
You know,
Lee's
I was
amazing.
trying to be, but I didn't get the exposure to him. Plus he's a little older than me, so he
Yeah.
was. In I respect him so much for that.
The
You
the
know,
thing is Lee. The thing is Lee is also like not only he's a guy that can do it.
exactly.
He's very articulate. He's very
He's
articulate. And,
analytical. He's very smart.
oh
Lee
yeah,
is
yeah, yeah.
very smart.
Well
And the
researched.
more I research him and study his work, I
Yeah.
see how kind of brilliant he is.
Nah,
He did
he's
good. He
amazing.
did
I've
good.
learned.
He's doing great. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I've learned so much stuff from him. I mean, I'll always be grateful for the stuff I learned from the man because it's
He
amazing.
just
And
never gets to the States. If he ever gets here, I'm gonna definitely go meet him, you know.
well, he's been to the state a good few times. At some point he had the plan to actually move to the state. I don't know
You
what
know, I
happened.
heard that. I
Yeah,
heard
yeah,
that.
that was back in 2017, 2018. He
Yeah.
was planning to move over there. I'm sure he'd be really busy over there, but I don't know why he didn't. I mean, I can't really speak for him.
That's right. Maybe
Uh,
that's the right time, you know.
Maybe not. I don't
So,
know.
I mean, that's
But
a big deal for you guys to do that, isn't it? I mean, isn't there a lot of red tape y'all got to go through to move here?
that's what that's what you were telling me earlier on, man.
I don't know. That's what I'm asking. Like, do y'all have to jump through a lot of hoops to get
I
here?
to be honest with you, because European for the British, I'm not too sure how hard it would be. For
Yeah.
European, I think we all need a visa to go to the US, man. They're quite strict with their regime, you know. I don't know what it would take for me to move to the state. Uh, to be honest, I don't know. I think the state is a bit too crazy for me in some ways. Like I really don't like the way the police operate in the US. I probably end up getting shot for nothing, man.
Well, the thing is, though, you don't like the way they operate from what you've seen on TV.
Well,
You've never
not TV,
interacted.
but
You've never interacted with them. You get
uh,
what I'm saying in real life.
I've seen a lot of people getting fucking mistreated. I've seen a lot of.
Sure, but yes, you've seen that. But I guarantee you can. If I tell you to count it right now, you could. Alexa, how many people are in the United States? According to the 2020 U.S. Census, the population of the United States is 231. We have 340 million people, and you've seen 9 people get beat up by cops.
Much
Come on. 340 million. You get my point, though? It's all about perception. That's what I was telling you earlier. To us, we look where you live as, man, that's a scary place. All them famous serial killers come from there. After Ripper hacked up the whole area. I mean, people getting stabbed with knives every day. We're scared of that. It's all about perception. Now, yes, we have a lot of dumbass, prideful, punk cops that when they take their suit and badge off, they look like little midgets, little small people. And then they put their suit and badge on, they look like King Kong.
It gives them superpowers, yeah.
Because it gives them superpowers, and I hate that.
Yeah,
and it breaks my heart because I've been working with law enforcement for many years. And some of my closest friends, some of the best dudes I know are cops. And I also know a lot of horrible people that are cops.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
So, there's good and bad people everywhere, man. That's one thing for sure. I'm not generalizing, but let's just put it that way. I mean, I used to have, I grew up around the uniform, man. My father was in the forces. A lot of his friends were colleagues, and you know what I mean? So I had that love for the uniform from a young age. I even wanted to join and stuff. I didn't because, I always had a little bit of a problem with authority, But, I still...
Me too. I still do.
I still love and respect, the mindset and the skill set that it takes to be on the forces. But,
this is the biggest thing that I have seen from working with these guys, some of these guys, since 1998. I started working for the New Orleans Police Department SWAT team in 98 or 99. And I was strictly a defensive tactics instructor. That's it.
Yeah.
Now, the good thing about that, though, back then, I don't know if they do that now, but I went on so many drive-alongs with these guys. Saw a lot of cool stuff, even assisted in one time. But that's for a different video. What I have found is that, the job sucks.
It's
a horrible job for $45,000 a year.
Yeah.
Come on, man. I mean, I think that's what they start them, most places, 45, 46 a year. You can make more money than that a year working at getting a manager's position at Walmart. You can, I know, because my friend is making $150 a year for working at Walmart. Yeah. So I know you can. So, and they have to go out every day knowing that the world hates them and knowing that the next person they stop or interact with could kill them. That's got to suck. It's got to suck.
Yeah. No, I'm sure. I'm not taking that away, man. It is a difficult. That's why I said to you, I respect the mindset and the skill set that it takes to do that job, and I respect the genuine idea at first to make the world a better place. I respect that when a man goes, right, I'm gonna go and join the police forces because I want to make the world a better place. Yes, you cannot not respect that. Of course, I do respect that.
Sadly.
I got problems with the bullied kids that got bullied at school and that just decide to have the uniform in order to fucking pass their vengeance onto the world. And there are a lot of people like that.
And the bad thing is there's no way to at least we don't have a way yet to
vet
police these to vet maybe Elon Musk could come up with a brain chip or something. Say this guy's an asshole, don't hire him. But as of now,
when the light goes red, like
listen, I'm gonna tell you something right now. This is the problem with all. Now I'm speaking of the United States. I'm not speaking of law enforcement situations anywhere else. This is the 99% problem with all police brutality cases, with all accidental or wrongful shoots, with all every issue that you hear about America law enforcement. 99% of the problem is this alone: department overheads don't want to spend the money to get these people actual, realistic, and consistent training.
Yeah.
Even even if it's from outside sources. The way the police department works is that they hate hiring people that are not one of them.
They're not police. Yeah, I know that.
And the problem is none of them know what the fuck they're doing. So you're going to hire people that doesn't know what they're doing to teach you, so it becomes the blind following the blind. So when this cop is on the street struggling with this 16-year-old boy who's stronger than him, he doesn't have enough training or options. He has to go for the gun. He can't check it off because he doesn't have the training to back up anything but the gun.
Yeah,
that's what happens.
Yeah, that's what they go for, and you're right. You're very right there. It's like that's one of the first thing they go for. You know, the guy feels spooked because maybe he's got to face somebody that's physically bigger and stronger than him, and because there is a threat disparity or a disparity in strength and physical strength and speed, and he's got to go for the gun.
Exactly. When he would see. The police departments are the cheapest skate people I've ever seen in my life. I'm amazed that, like, I know some people, and it amazes me, in some towns that I visit for seminars, I'll interact with a cop, and he's running a 7-year-old Glock, 8-year-old Glock.
Yeah.
And I know, I'm like, is that a mod? What is that a mod? Is that a 1998 Glock you're running? You know, or they're running one of them old stainless steel Smith and Wesson 9mm. And I'm just like, it's because department overheads don't want to spend the money. Think about this. If they get a guy like me or you in there, a guy like Lee in there once a month, let's just go minimum once a month for a 4-hour intensive or a 6-hour intensive. Oh, you know good and well that would drop down the police brutality at least by a lot.
100%.
Huh?
100%, mate. I do agree with that, man. Give them more training so they don't need, you know, they even like you say, you know, if let's say give them like some sort of grappling training, a grappling base, okay, like 5 moves, 5 principle, 5 concepts, a bit of strategies and tactics, and now they don't need to even go for impact anymore. You see a lot of coppers, they go start punching people. But why the fuck? That was completely unnecessary. That was completely...
Especially if they are in multiple figurations, like 2 to 3, because at 2 to 3, you don't need to go to striking. You should have enough experience to control. Now, I'm not going to lie, and I've told my cops this over the years. If you're alone and this guy is about to kill you, you do what you got to do.
Exactly.
You go into the next level. It's called force continuum.
Absolutely, man.
You have to stay one above what they're doing.
Yep.
So if they're trying to grapple, you grapple better, choke them out, strangle them, put them to sleep, whatever you can do, whatever you feel comfortable doing there. The next level is if they're not, you can't get attachment, you can't take them down, you can't control them. Now I'm talking about just one-on-one. I never want to take people down unless I take them down to hit them with the earth and get out of there, or to knee pin them and just drop the guns and get out of there, right? But these cops don't have that. The course that most police officers go through is the most laughable thing I've ever seen in my life. It is just laughable. And then they throw these kids out there, and then they reality hits, and reality wasn't 4 men holding big kicking shields ramming you, thinking you're in a mass attack situation with 4 red kicking shields. That's actually what they do, by the way. So you get reality, and you get 4 big guys on you with bottles and spitting at you, and they don't know what to do. So what happens? They end up resorting to the gun, or a higher level of force than should have been needed. You know what I mean?
Well, that's the same thing when you look at the training that security operatives get in this country. So, you know, you need to go through some sort of training in order to get your security license in here, depending what you do. But, you know, if you go for the door supervision or even the security guard, you have all the theory, you know, roles and responsibilities, all the conflict management and de-escalation and all that stuff. And then eventually you get what we call the PI, the physical intervention bit. Yeah. Bro, the stuff that they teach in there is like Dude, you just be sitting there pissing yourself, mate. Seriously, it's like you're never going to be able to make that shit work in real life. And do you know what it boils down to is that these guys, the security authority industry, they care about their wallet. That's all they care about. They care about people claiming. They don't give a shit about people getting stabbed on the doors. That they're not going to lose any sleep over that. As long as they don't lose any money, it's fine.
Listen, and I'm speaking from America only. Although I could bet you it's everywhere.
Oh yeah.
Law enforcement, medical, even rescue, like firemen.
Yeah.
Bottom line, it's all about how much money they can make.
Yeah.
Bottom line, it's all a business now. They don't really care about you. My wife got sick a couple of weeks ago, and we had to call an ambulance and get her to the hospital. She was there for only one day, fixed it. They saw it was a scary moment, but they saw what was going on, fixed it. She was there for 4 hours. All they gave her were one bag of medicine to fix the issue, and they poured just saline, and they just sent us a check for $10,000 for 4 hours and an ambulance ride that's literally 2 miles away. $10,000.
$10,000.
Yeah. So if you're scared of America, that's what you need to be scared of. Our medical system, boy, just robbing you. And not only that, she has good insurance. That hospital didn't take her insurance.
Do you know that's the mad stuff that pisses me off about the world is like, you ain't got no money? It's all right, just die. Just die on the street. Don't give a fuck. You ain't got no, you can't pay for it. Just die. It's all right. Don't worry about it. Just die. It's mad, isn't it? Just shows.
When I got run over by that Jeep over a year ago, I almost lost my foot twice. And that I was in and out of the hospital 5-6 times. But yeah, that guy, his insurance paid $10,000 towards my medical. My medical right now is at $167,000, and he paid $10,000. Their insurance company paid $10,000, so it was at 180 something. So it dropped it down to
fucking madness.
It's just all about money, man, and that's the problem. Going back to what us talking combatives, that's the problem. They don't want to put the money in to educate their officers, and it's sad because guys like us, we don't work for much. Hell, the opportunity and the clout would be good enough sometimes. You know what I mean? So they just don't want to do it because they're cheapskates, man. And it's sad because you're going to keep getting these, not only the negative, we can talk negative about cops all day long. Not only are you going to keep getting these negative talks about them, but more of these young kids are going to keep getting killed because y'all don't hear about that. Y'all don't hear about all the kids 22 years old, just out of the police academy, guys murdering a woman. He intervenes, dude shoots him in the head with a shotgun. 2 weeks on the job. Y'all don't hear about that. You get what I'm saying? So you got to have the proper training, and until people want to spend just a little more money, shit like this is going to keep on happening.
Yeah. Do you know that there are a few people that I respect in this field that are coppers or used to be coppers that are doing really well now. Well, the first one that comes to mind is Craig Douglas. I think Craig Douglas is amazing. I mean, the work that he does is absolutely amazing. And
he's one of my I don't watch many guys anymore. Just because, not that they're not amazing and awesome, but because I've learned, I think, all I can from that person. So my knit is very tight, but Craig Douglas is one of them that I do enjoy. Do
you know what? Like, I've interviewed him about a month ago or a bit more than that. And when I spoke to him, like, the guy really made me want to be more precise in the way that I speak, in the way that I express.
He's total professionalism.
Eh?
Total professionalism.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, amazing. Yeah, like, I'd love to go and meet the guy. Like I said to you, there's a few people I'd love to meet. The other guy I'd love to meet is Tim Kennedy.
Yeah. He's fun. I like him. I like Tim.
Sheepdog Response. Yeah, he's a funny dude, isn't he? So deadly, but funny.
Yeah,
man. And you know this other guy? What's his name? Jared Wihonge.
Oh yeah. Piggity Georgia guy.
Tricom Combatives, yeah.
Yeah. I like some of what Jared does. He's a good guy. Yeah.
There's some pretty cool stuff. And nice guy as well. Nice guys to speak to, man. I'll be interviewing him at some point as well. Like he said yes, so we'll be having a good chat with him, man.
Yeah.
So let's think. Let's see where we let the conversation go, because today we're going free flow because we can. We're just freestyling today. So when it comes to now, let's say grappling with weapons, is that something that you do a little bit? Obviously, we all think when it comes to weaponry, at first, you look at weaponry and you think to yourself, there is that style and that style and that style. But once you get some combative maturity and you look at all the different type of styles out there, you realize that it's not a question of styles anymore. It's a question of distance. Long distance, that'll be knife dueling or knife fencing, knife sparring. Then you get a bit closer. Now you got all the ambush attacks, ambush tactics. And then you get closer. Now you get the grappling, the actual wrestling with a weapon. And then after it all depends whether the blade is out already. Is the weapon out already, or is it still concealed? And now the person needs to actually access it, and you need to gain a position of dominance in order to prevent the other person from accessing his weapon and accessing yours. But how do you see all this? So with weaponry, from long range to mid range to close range, how do you work them transitions?
Okay, first thing is people didn't neglect the weapon grappling. We'll call it that for lack of a better term or a more analytical term, because that's what it is. Excuse me, man. That's so important, because in the real world, I see when you're in class doing all the cool drills and stuff and the coordination exercises, that's not in your mind. You don't think, what about that weapon grappling? And most weapon-based schools just ignore that, So it's so important. And that's with stick, with blunt weapon, edge weapon, and with firearms, which can sometimes be even harder to get to if you're on the ground, especially if your firearm is still, in its carry position, and then you have it, this guy's on you, you're rolling around on ground. So we know that stuff's very important. Yeah. So on a basic level, long range, if we're talking knife, let's just use knife here as a generic. Could it be a blunt weapon? Yes. Could it be I prefer just the hitting of the limbs if I see a weapon, if it's a weapons to weapons fight. But guess what? That rarely happens.
Yeah.
The duel, like my instructor Hawk Hakeem calls it, he goes, that weapons duel, he goes, that rarely happens. But this is what does happen. A bottle's on you, breaks over your face. He has an edge weapon now. Now you have to get to your weapon. Now you're in a weapons kind of duel.
Yeah.
Or you're stabbed. You grab a bottle, throw it in his face. Now it's a weapon duel. He's got a knife. You got a bottle. So I think that the dueling aspect should. I don't know if I like that or not, because it makes it sound condescending. But I think the dueling aspect should still be trained. If for anything else, the attribute building qualities of it, because it does make you move like a cat. I can teach someone to stand square and block punches. You need a parry, a tight cover, maybe but you can't do that with a knife. You can't stand square with a knife. It doesn't matter what you block.
You need to move. Yeah.
All meat's good meat, like I like to say.
Yeah.
So I think the dueling aspect in the training is important. I know a lot of combative guys that just don't do it at all. They never train like stick to stick or knife to knife or knife to stick, stick to knife or whatever.
Yeah.
They just train one guy, getting to the weapon. Well, how did it get there? Did he just run you against the wall? You got to get to the weapon? They kind of forget that beginning of the altercation, which there's never really one beginning. We know that. We can put it together in kind of direction of escalation, but in reality, the beginning could be he really does grab you, and then you didn't start squared off. How many times do you start squared off in a real time is life's violent situation? It's not the sparring mentality I like to use. You're not sparring. You're going to be ambushed, So there's no beginning, middle, end, but I think you should train sometimes the beginning, the middle, so that you know what to do in case they do. You know what I mean? I think you should start on the ground sometimes. Put your knife in your pocket, get the biggest guy in the room, and tell him, don't let me get my weapon hand to my blade. That's all you have to do. Even put gloves on you. MMA gloves are great for this.
Yeah.
Just let him try to. He can hit you lightly, and he can put his weight on you.
Yeah.
No submissions, obviously, because on the street, that shit you ain't gonna do that anyway. But just let him try to control your hand so you cannot index your blade. I think that's a great drill, and that's one that I've been doing for like 20 years. You know.
Then you get these type of drills where you go worst case scenarios from the back.
Yeah, that's what I meant to say. Yes, sometimes you start worst case in reverse.
Yeah, reverse engineering that. Yes. We do that. So basically, what it is like, let's say for example, so you got that blade in your hand already, and he's got your wrist. He's got that blade in his hand, and you got his wrist. If it's a blade on blade grappling fight, you know what I mean?
Yes.
You go from there. Or maybe, he's already got a 2-on-1 on your hand, where your weapon welding hand. And now how does he control that? How do you get out of this? It's basically, starting the fight at different points instead of always starting it at the beginning. Start by the end.
You know who I think pioneered that? Paul Bunnock. I think Paul was doing that back in the late 80s, early 90s, and I think if I had to give credit to where my mind, sometimes I do stuff and I'm like, did I get that from somebody? And that's okay. That's a compliment to them that fragments of their teaching stuck with you. So, but yeah, I think he was really good at. I think one of Paul's good things he did was really good at educating ranges.
Yeah,
you can go, you can long, middle, close. You can name them whatever you want, but there are still ranges of combat. And the problem I see in a lot of sporting events today is that these guys are trying to kick and punch in range, or punch and kicking range, or shoot from kicking range when they should be shooting under the punch from punching range. And I don't think they understand ranges properly. They're trying. That's like pulling a hand grenade in a closet. I mean, it's the wrong weapon for the time.
And that's where timing come from. It's really judging the distance right, having the right footwork, being proficient with your footwork and knowing the exact distance where to punch, where to shoot. Yeah, that's what makes it. That's what makes a good timing.
Yeah, I agree.
So you know one thing I'm actually there's quite a few things I'm working on right now, but I wanted your opinion on that. So you see, for example, you look at combatives work, you look at what we do in UC, in terms of pressure testing. And when we do the pressure testing, so look, for example, when we pressure test the guy, the trainee, the stressee, he's gonna be in the middle. He's not gonna have any protective gear, and there's gonna be 2 or 3 guys with protective gear that are gonna go. Yes, they're gonna attack pretty much full contact, but they're not gonna go full on. They're here to show the stressy what he can do, not to fuck him up, and then because it's easy 3-on-1. So that's good. I like that approach. I think it's good for the student to gain confidence little by little. But one thing I'd like to explore a bit more is full force on force scenario training, with both people put the protective gear on, and let's go inside. I've seen a few people doing that in buses now, like some MMA guys, getting in.
Lee has done some of that in buses and
stuff. Yeah. I have. That's where I got that from.
I think that's cool. It's hard to get a bus here.
In here too, it's getting a bit harder now. But do you know what? Basically, I'm thinking is to get the sports like the MMA and the Thai boxing and the boxing and the grappling, but to kind of how can I phrase that? I want various ways to pressure test. I want to try really like full force on force and see how long as it takes until one really decide when there is a judge and the judge goes, right, that guy in reality would be completely.
See, though, that's not pressure testing anymore. That's fighting now. I mean, that's MMA now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that's the best pressure test for combatives, sadly, is
the real life evidence. Like Lee says,
blood piss and spit on you and wake up in the morning with lumps and bleeding out of elbows, and that's the best way to gain experience of this. But I don't wish that on anyone because I did it for 20 damn years and I paid for it. You ask about my wrist? Yeah, I pay for it constantly. I got thousands of teeth marks in my hands. I can barely open them, you know? So the next best thing is guys like you, guys like Lee, guys like me. We have to be able to give the students a bit of reality without giving them the reality.
Exactly, without throwing them in the lion pit.
Yes, you know.
So I'm gonna experiment with various ways to pressure test. Obviously, it's gonna highly depend on the type of student that I have. Do you know what I mean? But I'm lucky enough to be friend with. I got really one of my best friend, Panikos Yusuf, who is a 3-time world champion in Muay Thai. Still,
you told me that,
Yeah, he's a really good guy. I've seen him today.
I need to look him up. You need to send me his name. He's got some videos online.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's got a shitload of videos, man. You'll see, man. He's really good. One of the top fighters in the world. And so I'm lucky enough to have a good few friends that are MMA fighters. Do you know what I mean? And I'm thinking about gathering a group of people that have a decent MMA level, and just do some pressure tests, but like make it as street as possible. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, can you still see me?
I can still see you, man. Yeah. Why?
All right, keep talking. I lost you, but that's okay. If you can see me, I'm good. Keep going.
All right. Yeah, I was saying to you, I'm gonna see getting involved with more MMA folks, MMA people, and do some pressure test and make it as street as we can, but have a bit more of a full force on force approach and see where it gets. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see with that. Like at the end of the day, no approach is a bad approach. Do you know what I mean? There is good and bad everywhere, and it's all about experimenting and see what works, isn't it?
Yeah, man. I mean, I do like the different approaches though the people are coming up with, and I think that's important to keep, taking what we're taking the data that we're capable of giving the student to a next level. Yeah. So the thing is, it's a trick. It becomes tricky because you can't hurt the student. Then the student quits.
Yeah.
So, it's just a tricky situation.
It's not like back in China or back in Japan where they don't give a fuck. You come to train. You're not happy. Just the door is over there.
Exactly. Exactly.
Now you get sued. Now you get sued for nothing. Like, you know what I mean?
So you got a lot of martial arts schools around you, or no?
Yeah. There's quite. You see, martial art is something quite popular. I mean, we got karate schools, we got taekwondo schools, we got obviously Thai boxing now. MMA boxing is a big thing. Jiu-jitsu. There's more and more and more of these around, man. You know, it's a common thing. Even here in Stockport, there's quite a few schools out there, man.
Yeah. You ever visit any of them or what?
Yeah, sometimes, man.
Train with them or no?
I like to train with everyone, man. So there's a few. I got a few friends that teach MMA, so I go and do a bit with them. One of them I do the doors with, John Sentry, who's a good friend of mine.
You told me about him, yeah.
So
you still working doors weekly?
Yeah. I've not done it now for because I've been on holiday. I've been in France, so I've not done it for a couple of weeks now. But yeah, I'm really doing my best now to kind of move away from that job. I want to start doing my best to teach full time, bro. This is really what I want to do.
So let me ask you this, and then we'll get back on track. What's the kind of rent for small buildings to teach out of there? Is it real expensive? Like here, it's crazy expensive.
It is pretty. I mean, it's not cheap. It's not cheap. Obviously, if you're lucky to have a friend that owns a gym, it's got its benefit. But yes, it is. When I first started to teach seminars here in Brinnington, I was actually hiring how do you call that? It's some sort of it's got a bar, and on the other side it's got like a big space, a big room with a podium, and that's where marriage and weddings are happening, and where people are eating with tables. It's like a banquet room, sort of. Yeah?
Oh, got you. Yeah.
And so that's very first seminars I was teaching. I was teaching in there because they weren't asking for much. But, the thing is that it's hard floor, it's hard wooden floor and stuff. So obviously, if you want to do some groundwork and takedowns and throws and stuff like that, it's not ideal. The best is Matt's dojo is the best, isn't it?
My first school was inside of a dance studio in Gonzales, Louisiana, right outside of New Orleans.
Yeah.
And what I did was this was in I opened my first school in 1998. So what I did was the padded floor, the interlocking mats were just coming out. I think they were Asian World. You remember Asian World of Martial Arts? You ever ordered from them? You probably don't know Asian World of Martial Arts. It's a big martial arts supply store.
Not sure.
Yeah. They're still in business. Century and them are the only ones that really survived the pandemic. But anyway, you're familiar with Century martial arts.
Oh, yes, Century. Yeah.
Asian World is like Century. So anyway, I ordered some interlocking mats. I don't know. I ordered maybe 25 of them. And every day I'd come in 30 to 45 minutes before class starts, lay my mats down on their hardwood floors because they were dancers. And then my class would come in and we would train for 2 hours. And then I would make them help me take the mats up and put it in the corner. So, so that, so I understand, man. Sometimes,
Yeah. It's all like a process, step-by-step process,
Yeah.
Like soon I'll start having like you teach week in, week out, yeah? So what do you do? What do you teach 3 days a week, 4 days a week? What do you do?
Right now, man, since the accident, I'm teaching lots of seminars. My seminar schedule is really growing, which is cool. I enjoy that. Now, what I enjoy more, man, I mean, if I could just teach a room full of people all day long, I would be totally 100% content with my life.
Yeah. Same thing here, man.
Maybe that will come back to me because I did have that for my entire adult life. I did have that till I moved to Florida. So, and then I do private classes all outdoors right now. I have a backyard with a little pond, and we train by the pond. There's ducks and geese, in parks. And I also do I have a couple guys that they have me go to their house and we train in their garage. So I'm kind of a traveling private class seminar guy right now.
Yeah.
One day I may be back in the box. My instructor calls it the box. He owned a school in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, where I owned my school for almost 20 years.
Yeah.
He owned a school there for 30, 40 years. And he got burned out, and he found a piece of property, and on this property is just free flowing bamboo. When you walk on this property, it looks like you walk into the Philippines. Okay, and then down it is the Tennessee River flowing, all with bamboo and rock. So and then what he did was he made obstacle courses, gyms, heavy bags, jumping through stuff, gun areas. He made all this out of his backyard.
Yeah.
And he called it Camp Jukom. Jukom is Korean. Juk means bamboo.
Yeah.
Means rock. So flexible like bamboo, hard as a rock. Jukom. And he is totally content with his life now. He says getting out of the box was the best thing he ever did. So I take that to heart. I kind of want to be back in the box. I didn't, but
same here, yeah.
Though, I do enjoy the working out outside, under the trees with the water flowing,
It's good stuff, man. For me, it's really because I'm not only starting, but I'm kind of only starting to get established. So I'm kind of looking to get established some more. And so I think teaching.
You're doing good, man. You're making ripples.
Eh?
You're making ripples, brother.
Little by little, bro. It's happening, man. And the goal in the next, probably this year already, the goal is to start teaching weekly classes. I already got interest here and there to do weekly classes. The thing is, when you do weekly classes, then you can film a lot of your content and then you can use that. You know, obviously you can use that to.
I'm the king of that.
I know that's what you did,
Oh,
bro.
yeah, man.
That's what you did. Full on, man. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Every time when you go and teach, you have someone filming, and then you end up using that. Yeah. That's what I'm doing at the moment. I'm actually doing a lot of video editing at the moment. I'm doing it a bit more in a professional manner. I mean,
you're getting good at it. I'm
seeing
that.
I got a big fucking green screen in my.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. It's been up since it's been up for the last 2 months, and I'm not taking it down, man. It's just up.
Yeah. What editing program are you using?
I'm using Premiere Pro.
Premiere Pro. Yeah.
Man, you can do everything with Premiere Pro. It's an amazing program, man. It's professional, and you can do pretty much anything you want. So yeah, that's pretty cool. I'll have some things coming up, like the website is going to be done. Like it's 95% done now. It'll be good. It'll be a good place to be. It'll be a good online place to be. You're there as well, man. You got your photo there with your review that you left me, man. It's going to be good. It's going to be good. So let's add a bit of structure to that. So JKD wise, yeah. So you see, when you speak about the ranges, and I know we spoke about the ranges with weaponry, yeah. When it comes to the ranges, when I first heard about, you know, the JKD concepts, and there was a lot of talk about the kicking range, the punching range, the trapping range, the throwing range, or the grappling range, and then you see people doing demonstrations where they actually go from range to range, from kicking range to punching to trapping to throwing. And there's a lot of people that kind of made it a habit to go through each fucking range instead of going maybe kicking range straight away to grappling range, because you closed in fast enough, you had an opening and you went for his legs, or you went for a double leg throw, and before you actually even punched or anything. What's your thoughts on that? Like, obviously you can go from kicking range to trapping range. You could go.
This is what I think. I think that the skill building technical aspects of the training is way different than the real shit that we're going to do when we leave the house. I think that you should approach it as this is conditioning, or this is sharpening the sword. That's all it's doing. And I think you should get creative with it, because this is the reality of real fighting. All the shit we've been talking about, you never go use out there anyway. You're only going to use 2 to 3 to 5% of what you train in the dojo in a real life is death altercation. That's it.
For sure. That's what Jeff Thompson calls Jeff. Fucking hell, every time I've been pronouncing his name wrong. He corrected me the other day when I interviewed him. Jeff Thompson. That's what he calls the sniper option.
Yeah.
It's like you have like maybe 3 to 4 to 5 moves that you know you own them. That's your bread and butter. That's where you go to.
That's where you live. That's your playground. That's where you live.
Yeah.
And that's going to nullify. If you think about it from just a combative point of view, this is where people mess up. You got the people on the combative spectrum strictly that say, well, you don't need all that other shit because you're only going to do this. And then you got the people on the self-perfection, technical precision aspect, looking amazing, looking smooth, totally athletic and talented, but can't fight out of a church.
Yeah.
So you got to combine them both, man. You got to have it both. So should you train to go from kicking, punching, trapping, grappling? Yeah. Just like you should train to go from grappling, get to your feet, then to punching. Yes. You should train kicking back to punching, back to trap. I think you should make it puzzle pieces that help sharpen that edge on that blade. But you should also know, in reality, I need to come in my mindset and go, I'm going to thumb this guy's eye and elbow him, and I'm going to go home, because that's really all I'm going to do. That's really it. So we do all this other stuff for that outcome.
So it's really what you're left with. You know, when the adrenaline kicks in, what are you left with? What comes naturally? What comes naturally under stress? Is it the palm strike? Is it the elbow? Is it the groin kick? Is it, do you know what I mean? And very often, 9 times out of 10, it's a very, very simple gross motor movement.
Oh,
like none of that.
9.99.
Stuff.
Yeah. I think the other stuff is what's fun and keeps us training as long as we have. You know, I have a lot. I hurt, a lot, but I still try to train every day. Some days harder than others. But I do it because I stay interested in it. I think that if I was just strictly like I look at my Fight Stoppers program and I think that it's an option out there, and there are others. People have great options too, but mine is definitely an option to take you from thinking that you cannot defend yourself to defending yourself. I think mine's a great option for that.
What is Fight Stopper, man? What's your program about?
Fight Stoppers is part of my Adaptive Combatives organization.
Yeah.
I have different modules, and Fight Stoppers is one of them. I can't believe, man, I gotta send you some videos. Okay.
Yeah, please do. We can do a little exchange if you want. I'll send you a few of mine.
I'll send you Fight Stoppers Unhinged tonight.
Cool, man.
That's my newest one. Fight Stoppers 1. It sold probably 1,000 copies around the world at this point.
Whoa.
I filmed it in 2015. It's 6 hours long, and we go deep into the mental game. I mean, it's just it's a bestseller, still is. Then in 2018, I filmed Fight Stoppers Unhinged, which is only like 2 hours long, but it's some really cool shit that I left out of part 1, some really barbaric stuff. So I added that to Fight Stoppers Unhinged. Not just that, it's more of the methodology of my program.
Yeah.
See, I think you'll love it, man. I think you'll love it. I love a review. I love a review from you on it.
Sure.
Anyway, I look at that block of work that I've done, and both those have sold. I've certified people, and they actually I have a way to. I block off my programs, my videos, my online videos. Like, okay, if somebody wants to become an instructor under me, and they live in another country.
Yeah.
I have another video that I send them that has each one just blocked off. And each block is a requirements for level 1, level 2, whatever instructor. You get what I'm saying? So you have each block until we get higher level, because when you get higher level, you got to come see me. I'm not going to ever be one of those guys that throws certificates in the mail to everyone. You get what I'm saying? Even if the money is really, I've had people $1,000 for a certificate. Yeah.
Well, maybe not that much, yeah, but
and I'm like, no, man. I mean, no. Oh, those guys from Dubai. I got some people from Dubai that have offered me $1,000 and the goat to give them a certificate.
A goat.
So, I'm just saying, they got money there, brother. And I backed down, and I got other friends who have had the same thing from them. So my point is, my video is blocked off. So this is what I need to see you do on video with a resisting partner, and then you send me the video. I grade it, and if you get what I'm saying,
yeah.
So anyway, that's what I do with the people that want to get at least phase 1 instructorship on me. That's fine. If you study it for 6 months and you send me a video, and I really just look at your video with critical eye, and I think that you're good enough to get to be able to teach that basic material to your people, do it. I'm okay with that. You know what I mean?
No, I've not gone to that stage yet where I'm like creating instructors. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, I'm not at that stage yet. I think it takes a certain degree of maturity in this field. When you have taught many people, and now you
get there.
You'll
get there.
Oh yeah, I know.
To me though, it feels good. Like, I got a guy in Holland who has been training with me online strictly for 10, 12 years. And he's actually a movie producer. And before 2020 happened, I was supposed to fly to Holland, then fly to Prague, and he was filming a movie. He was filming a movie based on pirates, but with Filipino martial arts. And I'm the fight choreographer that was signed to the deal. So he was going to fly me to Prague, is where the movie was actually being filmed. And he had me in there for 15 seconds. I was a bad guy, and I was going to die. So 2020 hit, derailed that whole project. Now he says it's still coming. But anyway, he's also a martial arts instructor at night. And on his wall in Holland is my Maglahook Kali banner, because I certified him to teach it, because he's been with me 10 years doing this material. Yeah. So it's kind of funny. I may never go to Holland, but Billy Brown's Maglahook Kali is being represented in Holland right now. It's kind of kind of a cool,
That's cool, man.
feeling. You know what I mean? Yeah.
You know that feeling when you know that people from all over the world are following your work, and some are training, and you get people sending you videos asking you like, how's my punching, how's my kicking?
Oh yeah. It's a good feeling, man. It is. It gets overwhelming sometimes, and I have to turn my phone off, or
or I get a bit of that sometimes.
Sometimes I just ignore them for a couple days, and then when I because they're always on my mind, and I get that shit so much too. It's always on my mind, and maybe when I'm watching a TV show, I'm like, okay, I'm not working on the computer, I'm not teaching. My wife's at work, I'll respond to them because I don't want to lose fans for seeming like an asshole. But at the same time, I can't respond to everybody quickly because I have I have a life,
That's one thing people don't understand. And I've been there myself, writing to the instructors that follow, like sending my videos.
The worst thing I do not love is I do have a reputation in the Jukano community, and it's funny because everybody knows how center I am on the whole concepts original BS. You know what I mean? And I'm just like the middle ground. In fact, I've lost lots of certificates that would have, because I didn't want to put up with their politics. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'll get well-known guys that I probably shouldn't mention right here messaging me talking shit about this guy on the other side, but then he's talking shit. And I give them all the same opinion. And this is usually what I say. Shut the fuck up and train. Ignore what they're doing. Ignore what you're doing. If your students are advancing and getting better, if you're improving and empowering them in some way, if you think that you're keeping Bruce Lee's art valid in today's time, keep doing what you're doing. But stop talking. Put out videos. Show us. You know what I'm saying? A lot of these guys that like to bicker back and forth. I'm not talking about some of the well-known guys or the guys that already have followings and stuff. But some of these JKD guys, the biggest thing about the JKD world is that most of them want to talk instead of train.
Yeah,
they don't have one video of themselves doing anything. And if they do, it's shitty. And it's just talk. And it's sad because Bruce Lee was all about, we could dig up stuff about Bruce Lee, especially now with the stuff that has come to air in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
We can dig up so much dirt about him, and then you can listen to people like all these modern MMA fighters. He wasn't a fighter. You can do all this. One thing nobody will ever say is that man didn't train harder than anyone else in the ring. He was obsessive about training, obsessive about it. So, and it's funny because he was all about the training, but now his followers are all about the bickering and talking about shit that doesn't matter.
Do you know what? There's one guy that started a bit that I got the feeling. I got the feeling. You know, have you seen the movie, the Tarantino movie, Once Upon a Time in America?
Yeah.
Or Hollywood, or the last one of the last ones with
Tarantino,
DiCaprio and Brad Pitt. Yeah. Where there is a scene where Brad Pitt fights Bruce Lee. And I think that Shannon Lee, Bruce Lee's daughter, got pissed off about it and bad-mouthed Tarantino for bad-mouthing her father.
Yeah, I know all about it.
Yeah, and after this happened, there's been all these fucking rumors about Bruce Lee being being cocky, and I mean, bro,
he was cocky.
He was. I know he was because I've spoke with Leo Fong. I spoke with a few people that knew him in real life, and I was like, I know he was cocky. But at the same time, was he really like that?
He could back it up. That's the thing.
Oh yeah.
People put him on such a high pedestal. They're telling these stories. I was like that too at that age. At 21, I thought I was bulletproof, and I thought I could shit talk to. If the United States Marine Corps came down, I would shit talk to them. That's how I felt. I couldn't back it up with the United States Marine Corps, obviously, if they came down. But every time when somebody doubted that, I backed it up, even at that young age. Now, that we contribute to youth, in ignorance and youth, because I didn't need to back it up. I didn't need to talk crap at all. I just needed to keep doing, which is moving forward, which I did, and I'm still constantly doing. But the thing is, Bruce Lee was a kid, even when he died.
Yeah,
I tell people this. 32. I tell people this all the time.
Younger.
And sometimes it really kind of shocks their system. I'm like, I've been training martial arts longer than he lived.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not just that. I have been training Jeet Kune Do longer than he did.
Yeah.
And it doesn't get, and I'm not just talking about me in general. I'm talking about, think about Dan Asano.
Yeah.
That man, you could, the other side can talk about the Jeet Kune Do all he wants. He has honored Bruce Lee for 50 years.
Yeah.
He's been training Jeet Kune Do for that long. Is it going to look different than Bruce Lee's? Yeah, because I hope to God that this 1972 Bruce Lee wouldn't look like a 2023 Bruce Lee. I hope to God.
I think that if Bruce Lee was still alive now, his Jeet Kune Do would have completely evolved. I think he would have got more simpler and simpler and simpler.
And I have proof to that statement. If you look at the 1964 Bruce Lee, he was still in the Wing Chun position with his shoulders back, and then you flash forward from 64 to 68, 4 years. He looked he was boxing, he was on his toes, he was moving around, he was using footwork. It was none of that in 64. So you're telling me a man that evolved that much from 64 to 68 wouldn't have evolved from 73 to 2023? Come on, man.
Yeah, of course you would. Of course you would. You look at, I'm looking at people like Tommy Crothers, yeah, and Tommy did a lot. Tommy did a lot of work when it comes to all that, you know. And you look at Tommy's JKD, the way that he was back 20 years ago, or 10 years ago, or 5 years ago. He keeps kind of trying to find ways to make it simpler and shorter and more compact and more direct. And
he does a great job at that. The problem could be, I said he does great at that.
Oh yeah, he's amazing.
The problem with the way they're thinking though is two parts. You could look at that part and go, yeah, he is making it simpler and simpler and simpler. But when it comes to it, he's making it simpler for him. All he's doing for his students is not giving them the attribute building options they need to really become talented with attributes, speed, focus, timing. All that other shit makes you good.
Yeah.
The training should be hard, the fighting should be easy.
Yeah.
So you gotta have it both. And that's my only disagreements with guys like Tommy. Well, he's an asshole. But other than that, my only disagreement, and I've told him this, other than that, my only disagreements is I think the students are neglecting something else that the martial arts has to offer, other than just teaching them to just throw a straight lead to the face and kick the shit. You get what I'm saying? It offers so much more. If you linger just on the fighting forever, you're going to get bored. You're going to get burned out. That's the thing. That's why I love the Filipino martial arts so much. It's the only thing I train in. I train in multiple systems and I teach multiple systems. The Filipino martial arts is the only thing I train in, and I don't know if this is going to shock the net if people see this, but it's the only thing that I stay excited about. It really is. That in the Filipino martial arts and the mental skill sets it needs to just surgically, barbarically tear a human being apart that's trying to hurt you. I linger on that shit too. Being able to control my emotions and go from a guy that owns a bunch of cats, loving husband, father, to just fucking mean. I love that. That's art.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure, man.
So those two things, the Filipino martial arts, because I never get bored. I'm constantly learning something new. Everything else, you're not learning anything new. You're learning to do what you got better, which is good too. That's great too. You keep sharpening that blade. I get that. But the guys that just think, Bruce Lee didn't mean simply to simplify. They took that way out of context. He didn't mean, and there's proof to this, and I'll talk about it. But he didn't mean Jeet Kune Do simply to simplify, which means don't do shit except a jab, a shin kick, and a back fist. That's it. That's all you need. He didn't mean that. What he means is Jeet Kune Do is simply to make the fight simple, not the training. And if you look at the shit he was doing up until his death, he was still doing all the other shit that now the Jeet Kune Do world's saying you don't need. He was still doing it. He never once dropped trapping in Chi Sao. I know he didn't. There's proof because there's video of him teaching Chi Sao to people in 72 and 73.
Yeah.
So he dropped it for his personal. He thought that he was past it. I do shit. I don't do some of the shit I did 10 years ago. I don't do anymore. That doesn't mean I think it's useless.
Yeah.
You kind of evolve. Well, then. Yeah.
You do
so
evolve.
People take all this stuff he said, or most of it he never even said.
Yeah, I know.
He really didn't. You know, he wasn't some king professor that was, monk that was, he was a constant researcher and he wrote notes down and they all contributed to him.
Sorry to just cut you for a second before I forget. Do you know one thing I really love I've seen one day is a picture of Bruce Lee with a quote saying, "I never said half the shit you quote me on." That's fucking amazing, that, mate.
My favorite one is the meme. That's the quote. It says, "Don't believe everything you read on the internet." Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's easy.
Can we have like a literally a 1 minute break while I go to the toilet? Yeah?
Do it.
I'll be back.
All right. Sure.
You still there, bro?
What's up?
I got my housemate. He's working on his Subaru car outside, listening to some mad hard rock.
I heard it. I heard something. Yeah,
it's going mad, mate.
How many? So you have roommates? Y'all call them housemates?
Housemates, yeah, housemates.
Yeah. How many you got? Just two, or?
So where I am here, that dude, he's almost never here. Most of the time, he's living to his girlfriend. He works.
Roommates.
Yeah, well, housemate. Yeah. So he's got his room upstairs, and then I got a lady from Germany in front here.
Okay.
Yeah, and I got another lad, English lad there. It's a quiet
And
house.
one girl.
Yeah.
Who's after her? Can you say publicly?
I'm not. I mean, she's just like, she's there. I got a girlfriend, bro. I actually met a really, really nice woman not too long ago, man. Like about 2 months ago. And guess what? It's weird, man. She lives like 30-second walk across the street to where I am.
You never knew.
How crazy is that?
You never knew?
It's mad that. No, bro, she's been here I've been here for 5 years. She's been here for longer. I've not seen her once.
See, that's what scares me about the UK. Y'all weren't nice to each other.
Huh?
I said that's what scares me about the UK. You guys aren't nice to each other.
Well, I mean, it depends.
You don't stop and talk to your neighbors. You don't. You know what I mean?
Not even that. It's not even that. She's just, she's just out. I don't really socialize too much with the people here because it's a bit of a shit neighborhood here. You know what I mean? So I do my thing. I go to train. I come back. I'm here. If I go to the gym, I go to the gym. But most of the time, I'm here. I don't really socialize with the people around here. But I still go to the shop. I still go to the post office. I still do bits and pieces here. So I've never seen her, and she's the same. She doesn't really go out much. So yeah. That's how long you been with your old lady?
12 years.
12
almost
years.
13. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a long time.
Been married for going on 4.
Wow.
She made me an honest man.
Good.
Never thought I'd get married, but
well,
she's a little warrior, man.
Yeah, well, that's good, man. I was married once.
I met her when she was 18, so she's gonna be able to roll me around in my wheelchair. We're 15 years apart, so
that's good, isn't it? That's an investment.
That's what I tell her.
Yeah, man. So, what you were saying about the JKD? So we were talking really about the philosophy of the training.
Yeah.
And how
it's so hard to tell the other side. I call it the other side. I wish to God, and I know I've never asked him, and I never will, and maybe he has confided in one of his closer, way closer than me just being a seminar guy. But I've never asked Guru Dan if he regretted using the term original or using the term Jiku no concepts. But I bet he does. And I know why he did that. And a lot of the guys that have been doing Jiku no for longer than 20 years and have put in countless hours of time, and not only that, have talked to people who were there, or at least second generation students. I really believe that when he did that, him and Bruce had this thing. I don't know if you knew this, but him and Bruce Lee had this thing where they called anything that was good, they called it JKD. So if it was pizza, that pizza was JKD. It was good. They did this thing. He developed this thing where wanting to add the concepts, not only of the physical, but the philosophical to everything he did. That's why he called it the concepts, because you could add Jiku no to your life. The concept of it, be like water. That's a life quote. Let's be honest. You know what I mean? So he did it not knowing it was going to separate. But I think the separation was already started anyway. You got to understand something. When Bruce Lee died, there was a time period where Sifu Dan wasn't even going to teach Jiku no anymore. He thought that it should die because Bruce asked him of some things, and I think that he's done it. And I think what he's done is Bruce wanted him to be an individual and not a carbon copy. Yeah. And I think that Sifu Dan is the only one that's really done that. And it's just been sad, some of the slack that he gets online, and he gets it because, first off, the slack he gets online will not tarnish that man's legacy one iota. We know that, right? Yeah. I mean, it doesn't touch him. He doesn't care. I mean, I don't need to defend him. I used to always defend him. I'm like, I don't need to defend him. His legacy's in stone. But the problem is people give him this slack not because of anything else other than the fact that he fell in love and got very good and influenced the world with stuff other than Jiku no. It's almost like they just wished him to just be a Jiku no man the rest of his life till he died. Well, if you notice, all of the real Jiku no men that were just Jiku no men, they may be left by some legacies, but none like Dan Inosanto. They haven't touched as many lives as Dan Inosanto.
I mean, Dan Inosanto is an absolute encyclopedia of martial arts. The guy knows. I mean, it's just crazy the amount of stuff that the guy knows.
Yeah. He is. So, I wish to God we could all talk. I love the Filipino community, because Filipino martial arts community, because we share constantly. We talk. They invite me to their events. I invite them to my events. It's a big family. You don't find that in Jeet Kune Do, and that's sad, man. It's sad. We could all have a blast.
Mm.
We could all
Like a
have
big family, like it should really be like a big family mindset where we can sit down, talk about things, have little debates as long as
and
there
that's
is.
how the Filipino martial art community is. It's very just, I mean, I just had a guy I was texted earlier. You saw the guy I'm going to see in Chicago, very established martial artist and very established martial arts school in his own right. Very established. I mean, he's a full instructor under Ron Balicki.
Who?
Ron Balicki. You know who that is? Ron Balicki married Diana Inosanto, who is Dan's daughter. Yeah. So anyway, my point is he just messaged me and said, do you like Filipino food? I'm like, of course, man. I'm a Cajun. I eat anything. You never get a Jeet Kune Do guy saying, hey, come to this event, like an original Jeet Kune Do guy messaging me, come to this event, do you like burgers or whatever? You never get that. There's no sharing in Jeet Kune Do. It's about bicker, talk, what Bruce Lee would have done and didn't do. And that's sad to me, man. I know a lot of very good Jeet Kune Do guys that are fully certified under first instructors under Bruce, who don't even say they teach Jeet Kune Do no more because of the bullshit. They don't even claim it that they teach it anymore. Sad, man.
They just want to fuck the arguing. Let's just do our thing. It doesn't matter how we call it. It's the quality of it that matters, isn't it?
I had a guy on YouTube one time talk some shit to me. Off of 1 2-minute video he saw. He didn't like one thing or something. I'm like, let's do this. I said, I have 10,000 followers on one page, 20,000 on another, 8,000 on another. I said, I will go video for video with you on each one of my pages with all of these thousands of people, video for video, and let them decide who needs to shut the fuck up and who doesn't. He disappeared. He blocked me. And he was acting like, so if you disagree with what somebody does, and I disagree with what a lot of people do, that's human nature. I disagree with some of what Tommy does. That's good. That's good for me if you disagree with something I'm doing. That's really good for me because it makes me analyze what I'm doing and see, well, is you disagreeing with it valid? Should I evaluate what I'm doing? Or is you disagreeing with it just your opinion and I shouldn't care about it? So it's good for your soul to get that every now and then. But when they shit all over somebody like Dan Inosanto just because he loves to train other stuff, and they say that he muddied the waters of Jeet Kune Do because he loves Kali and Muay Thai and all the other hundreds of arts he probably trains, it hurts. It breaks my heart because Dan didn't ask for that. He didn't ask to be so close to Lee. He didn't ask for any of that. He just wanted to train, And I think Jeet Kune Do should be bigger than any other martial art right now. It should be. If you look at where it came from, the pedigree, Bruce Lee being in the movies, making it so popular, his name is still known worldwide. Why is it Jeet Kune Do so popular? It's not popular because of the BS instructors out there that just want to be BS instructors and not take it to the next level. Breaks my heart. It is what it is, though.
Hey, to be honest with you, in this world of Jeet Kune Do, there's not a lot of people that I like to watch, that I think are really good to watch. Like there's just a few. I mean, you're one of them. There's Tommy. There's a few others. In fact, I've had my eyes on Joaquin Marcelo, the Spanish guy.
Yeah.
It's actually he's got some pretty cool
stuff. He's very Ted Wong. Ted Wong. But you could tell he also innovates his own, He does a lot of stuff that Ted never did. People always talk about that too. I
like his stuff.
Ted looked the closest to Bruce Lee. No, he didn't. Most of the stuff that Ted Wong you ever see video of him doing, Bruce Lee moved totally different footwork, different, they tried to make Ted a clone, is my point. I don't know if Ted did that on purpose. I doubt he did. I never met him. By all accounts, he was a humble and great gentleman, and his contributions to the Jeet Kune Do world will forever be remembered. But they tried to make him into a clone.
Yeah.
And then he didn't stop the Dan Inosanto bashing. And he lost a little respect for me because
was Ted Wong bashing Inosanto?
He wasn't, but he was allowing all of his students to.
Right.
And he didn't stop that. So that made me lose a little respect for
right
for through that. And but again, I say I love the guy. I wish I would have spent some time with him. So I'm not bad mouthing him like that. I'm bad mouthing him from the factual perception of most of his group. And I don't want to start a, I used to call them Jeet Kune Do cults, the original side, just a cult, the Jeet Kune Do cult. But most of his group, he didn't stop the bashing. And the funny thing is, and listen, I've had the original Jeet Kune Do, I had an original Jeet Kune Do guy battle with me for 10 hours back when I gave a shit about battling online. Now I just quit talking to you. But he was convinced that Bruce Lee gave Ted Wong a certificate. Ted Wong certificate is signed by Dan Inosanto, not by Bruce Lee. No, it's signed by Bruce Lee, but Bruce signed it before he died. Ted didn't get that certificate until after Bruce died. Bruce left a whole box of pre-signed certificates with Sifu Dan. And he told Sifu Dan, I trust your judgment. Give them out and award them to people as you see fit. So all those guys that came after were their certificates are signed by their instructor, Dan Inosanto, not Bruce Lee. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Nobody wants to believe that, Everybody tries to rewrite history, man. You cannot rewrite history. So
that's one thing for sure, man.
Yeah.
What do you think about the non-classical kung fu stuff, like the Jesse Glover stuff? Have you actually met Jesse Glover?
No. I've only met 4 people who spent a lot of time with Bruce. And Jesse sadly was not one of them. Mm-hmm. But what I say about Jesse is, from talking to other people who did know Jesse, was, first off, from my observation with Jesse, he probably had one of the best finger jabs that out there. And he trained to go angles on it. He didn't always train that whole dropping it into the eye stuff that later became Jeet Kune Do, and people started calling it the hammer principle and stuff. And there is a hammer principle, but it's not dropping the finger jab into the eye like a hammer. It's not this. Mm-hmm. So Jesse just went straight in, and he would go angles, and he would learn to, So I think Jesse was never cut out to be an instructor, and that's why, sadly, we don't have more video of him doing it. You know what I mean? I think he didn't want that. I don't think he wanted to. Like, he liked the small group every now and then. I wish we would have more people. I wish Jesse would have built a bigger, you know what I'm saying, a bigger following, so to speak. Or I would have liked to see that, but
he's got one guy that he formed that's pretty good. Is Pierre Hartmann.
Yeah.
Have you looked into what?
Yeah, I've seen it a couple times.
Pierre Hartmann. I think it's French, by the way.
Yeah, gotta be. Yeah, Pierre. Yeah.
Pierre Hartmann. Yeah. Actually, like Tommy, Tommy Carruthers, like speaks a lot about Jesse Glover. I mean, they used to be close. They used to be friends.
Spent a lot of time with him. Yeah.
Yeah. And so
we don't have many originals left. I mean, Dan
Inosanto. No, they're following like flies. The last one is Inosanto now, yeah?
Is he the last now? Wow.
I think so.
So I'm curious, like, what's going to happen when he's gone? I mean, are we going to stop the DI bash it? This is the sad thing that I see is happening. And this happens a lot with a young founder when he dies. It happens often. But nobody was kind of groomed to carry the torch.
Yeah.
So it just went with chaos and just exploded because nobody knew. He died so suddenly. 32 years old kid, man. I mean, come on. That's a young man. So he died so suddenly, nobody knew where to carry it. So it was just chaos. And people took their little bag of chaos and went one direction. They took their little bag of chaos and went the other direction. And that's what happened. And everybody maybe thought they were right, but it developed into some shit that's left.
It's like a star going supernova, like you know, like
Yeah.
just releasing all them cosmic clouds flying like it's,
Yeah.
it's mad.
And it's sad because there are people out there that I bet you've never even heard of that are just were amazing JKD guys, but died suddenly.
Yeah.
You know, and we got a couple videos of them maybe, but like you got one from your area.
Say again?
Yeah, you got one from your area. Who I consider probably, it breaks my heart. I would have rather met him and trained with him than Ted Wong or Jesse Glover.
A JKD guy.
Dave.
Dave.
Dave Carell. Dave. What's his name?
Where is it? Dave who? Let me have a look.
I can't believe I forgot his name.
Dave Carnell. Yeah, Dave Carnell. Carnell.
I don't think Connell.
Carnell.
Cornell, yeah, Dave Cornell, yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing JKD man. You need to look him up on YouTube.
Funny enough, I've never heard of him, mate.
No, and he's one of the best JKD man I have seen. Yeah. And he, even at that time, he was, you'll see both the concepts and the original inning. And the way he's hitting mitts, and he's got full seminars on YouTube. I have studied him hours and hours and hours and hours on his work. But nobody knows of him because he died too young. You know what I mean? The only reason why we know about Bruce Lee because he was a movie star. That's it. Yeah. If Bruce was never a movie star, died at 32, we wouldn't even know who he was.
I'll have a look at him, man.
Yeah. Yeah. He was one of the best, man. So sad, died of cancer, killed him early. Yeah. Shit, he was real good friends with Tim Tackett.
Oh, Tim Tackett, yeah.
And Tim every year, posts as a happy birthday post to him. They were really close. I don't know how when they lived so far apart, but yeah, he was amazing. So there's so many people because what happened was the founder died young. People went everywhere in chaos. Every now and then, somebody from that chaos came out that had some half decent skill sets, or even better than like Dave Cornell. I think he's exceptional. But you don't really hear about them because they're secluded somehow out of the chaos that's not organized. But then you don't want to organize it because Jeet Kune Do's not organized. But if something's not organized, it's fucking chaos. You get my point? You got to find a way to do it both.
There is a guy I used to watch as well. A guy on the Jerry Poteet.
Yeah, you talking about real skinny guy, black hair?
Octavio Quintero. Yeah.
And that's another whole God.
The Jerry Poteet.
The Jeet Kune Do world go. I don't know how many people will see this, but I'm very honest, and they love me for it.
How did this happen?
Jerry spent less time with Bruce than anyone.
Yeah,
that's a fact. But I can hear the fucking sharpening their hammers or hammering. So, well, what happened was he got his own cult following. And I'm not disrespecting Jerry, but I'm stating a fact, and I've talked to guys who were there, like Jerry. We never saw Jerry in class. I had one guy tell me. Another guy jokingly said, "Well, he was with Bruce for 2 weeks?" Now I don't know if I'm hoping it was longer than that, but my point is, some of the stuff Jerry did. Jerry has a good lead hand. Some of the stuff structurally is wrong, very wrong. But I can't tell a senior that, and nor would I. You know what I mean? But some of the whole Jeet Tech without pivoting and the knee facing this way and the but then you see Octavia doing it long range like a fencer, so I just hate cults in martial arts. Why can't we all just train? Everybody's gonna like different flavors. Everybody's gonna be able to do. I never could, even though I was hyper athletic my whole life, and just in the last 5 years, I've lost a lot of that through injuries and gaining weight. But I, even as hyper athlete, I could kick basketball rims for Christ's sakes, but I never could do a standing backflip, and it pissed me off my entire life. And I couldn't because my body wasn't built. I got shoulders out to here. It's not built for it. You know what I mean? And I think that's how martial arts is. A lot of the shit we can't do because
it's just not meant for us, isn't it?
Not meant for us.
Yeah.
And when you become a cult, and I'm using that loosely, but some of it seems like BJJ. Most of them are cults, man. In my opinion, I mean, especially the Brazilians have the cult mentality. Let's not lie, they really do. So I don't dislike BJJ, for example. I dislike some of the cult mentality I see in some of the organizations. Same thing with Jikuno. I hate the cult mentality.
Yeah.
You know? Because when you have a cult mentality, that limits what you're teaching your students, because you have to follow these lines of what you're doing, and you can't look elsewhere to make it better, because then you're deviating.
And then you can't ask questions. You know, you can't eat because straight away you're being attacked.
That's like those commercial people that are on Pepsi commercials, but the paparazzi catches them drinking a Coke. They're screwed. They lose that contract, you know, with Pepsi. So it's crazy, man.
Like, you know, like it's now that there's one thing. It's like I'm going through a bit of a revolution in my head when it comes to my training. You know, I'm getting at that age where I'm kind of reviewing all the stuff that I've trained.
Yeah.
And, you know, I started training at 4 years old, so I'm like 35. That's fucking 31 years already, man. And I'm looking at all these things, and I'm like, it's a lot of things that I've thrown away. A lot of things that I just focused on before that I don't focus on anymore.
And sometimes you'll come back to those things and look at them with different eyes and appreciate them more.
I'm actually now thinking that, you know, there's maybe some stuff that I used to do that could still be practiced for the sake of attribute development or technical development, and just kind of precise it. You know what I mean? And that, I think that's one very important things, you know, when you teach, is to precise what we're doing. Okay, today we're going to work on something. This is purely for attribute development, or this is purely for the technical development. But when it comes to fight development, we're going to have a slightly different approach. We're going to simplify it, and we're going to kind of cut it to the bone. Yeah.
And that's a big problem with MMA, what they did. And I'm jumping mentally right now, but I'm going to tie it together. MMA developed a falsified balloon around society that somehow makes society believe that what they're seeing on their pay-per-view 55-inch TV is real fucking combat. How did that happen? I don't understand how that happened. Well, it happened because UFC made money from get-go. So they had to keep pushing the envelope. This is the only way to fight. This is real. This is, you know, I've never seen anybody in the cage get hit with a brick and run over. You know, that's real fighting. Yeah. But society now believes that what they're seeing on TV in the sporting arena is how real fights happen. That's why guys like us aren't making millions of dollars a year, whereas guys that have BJJ schools are, because nobody wants to hear that mental aspect, which is dirty and grimy and smelly, and it gives you an icky feeling. Nobody wants to learn that shit. They want to put the cotton on, and they want to roll vertical on their backs, or let's take it to the next level. They want to go to a box aerobic school, or they want to keep things very PG in their own realm of reality. Yeah. Whereas the reality of the reality is it's not PG, it's fucking X out there, and nobody trains for X because it's too dirty.
Yeah. Yeah. People don't, it takes a certain mindset to kind of train in combatives, you know?
Yeah.
And that leads me to you know, one thing that I understood like kind of recently, and it's really Richard Dimitri that kind of, you know, helped me kind of see stuff a bit from a different light now, is that, okay, if what we teach is self-protection, so it's about thinking who needs self-protection the most. not the martial artists, not the people like you and I that have trained for all our life, that know how to punch, know how to kick, know how to do all that shit. It's for people that don't know how to punch, people that are the most vulnerable people. And that's where now I'm starting to ask myself, okay, I love combatives. I'll always be training combatives and teaching combatives because I love it. But I will always be attracting a certain type of people. Do you know what I mean? When it comes to combatives. But if I was to say to myself, how do I help?
That's the fear. The fear is we will always attract the people. The goal should be to somehow learn to transfer what we are passionate about onto another person and make them passionate about it too. So sometimes we have to, like the term combatives, I love it. One of my dear friends and instructors and a guy I looks up to, Hawk Hakeem, he was one of those guys that even started using the word before anyone. You know what I mean? Combatives. But that is more X-rated than karate.
Yeah.
Or even MMA. MMA, nobody knows what the hell that really means. Today, when people see a sign that says MMA, they think of the UFC.
Yeah.
I was doing mixed martial arts back in the 89 when it wasn't cool.
Yeah.
I was mixed. I wanted to learn. I was a 9, 10 to 12-year-old little kid wanting to learn everything when it wasn't cool. Now MMA is UFC.
Now you get people coming to you and say, bro, I train in UFC, bro.
I got a black belt in UFC.
I got black belt in
UFC. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, madness. But now imagine this now. What do you teach to a person if you got Mr. and Madam everyone, so like a normal average person that never trained martial arts a day in his or her life, and you have 1 hour with them or 2 hours with them, and you need to give them something real, something that they can take home, something that's going to make them into a harder target, something that could potentially save their life. What would you show them? I mean, as far as I know, I'd speak about awareness. I'd speak
How
about
long do I have with this person? 2 hours?
Let's say you got 2 hours. You got 2 hours.
2 hours. This is what we do.
Yeah.
Break down very basic fight psychology. Very basic. That's the start of it. We use acronyms because acronyms stick in people's heads. So we use like ABC, attack behavioral cues. We use Pi-Fi. You familiar with OODA loop? You've trained in firearms now for where? Well, what I did with the OODA loop many, many years ago, because I came off from teaching law enforcement, I took the OODA loop and I made it very PG. So I used the term Pi-Fi, P-A-F-I. It's the same thing as OODA loop, but I made it more easier for people to learn and more easier for civilians to compute it and store it in their thought.
You spoke about this before. You can say again. The Pi-Fi.
Yeah, Pi-Fi. P-A-F-I. Pi-Fi. P. You perceive the threat. A. You analyze the threat. Make sure the threat is a threat.
Yeah.
I. You put you in. So you have where am I at? You have P-A-F. You formulate an attack plan.
Yeah.
I can write a book just on Pi-Fi, really, because there's multiple layers to. I'll give you a brief one. So you formulate an attack plan. You initiate motor skill. So you perceive the threat, you analyze the threat, you formulate an attack plan, you initiate motor skill. Now, Pi-Fi can also be an increment of time throughout this time is life situation. So if you have Pi-Fi written in the air, P-A-F-I, on top of the P is a 1, on top of the I is a 2, F is a 3, 4. Your goal is to stay at 4 while keeping the bad guy at 1. Because this is the thing, you're not the only one doing this. The attacker is also going through the Pi-Fi. He is perceiving you as easy prey.
Yeah.
He is he is analyzing you as easy prey. He's making sure that you're easy prey. He don't want to fight, right? Then he's formulating an attack plan. Then he's initiating his plan. He's going to
Yeah.
That
That's
too.
exactly the same concept as the OODA loop. Yeah, just explained differently.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the point is, you keep him at the preliminaries while you stay at the fucking finish. That's the concept of fight. So I would teach them that. I like to show statistics, especially when I'm teaching a women's group, but some men too. But I keep up to date with FBI statistics, especially in America, obviously in America. So, and then from there, I debunk the shit that's in their head because people think that they're going to toe up and spar with people on the street.
Yeah. No, it doesn't happen. Yeah.
It doesn't happen. I call that the sparring mentality. Most people have that. I have met and I have had to sadly slam some of them on their heads and send them to the hospital even, but I have met some well-known, very good MMA fighters that try to wreck my establishment I was working at. Because you got to understand, Tennessee's the buckle, man. A lot of the famous MMA fighters came. I know 3 people that was on the Ultimate Fighting Championship TV show. I mean, my friend Shane, he became a special forces guy and a real badass. I mean, I love that kid. So glad I followed his upbringing. He was a talented MMA fighter, but these guys come in here and then real violence meets them and they toe up and they think that's going to happen and they always fall. 99% of the time because they're thinking, okay, how long I got, coach? When you know good and well violence is like that and people are bit. It's like you set a dog on someone, that's violence. They're bit so quick. Even if you're ready, you see the dog coming, you're still bit.
Yeah.
Same thing with a blade. Even if most times you see the blade coming, you're still, even if you can survive the situation, you're still bit afterwards. You know? So you have to do that with this person. Then you have to take this person through the concept of 99% of the altercations that you're going to occur, they start here.
Yeah.
Nobody ever looked at and I use this in my female courses, and I'm going to use it here too because it's already online. Nobody ever looks at a female from 20 foot away and go, I'm about to rape you. Nobody ever does that. It starts here. Because violence happens in the hornet's nest or in the beehive. That's where it happens. Then they fly away. So you teach this man to thumb the eyes and just work elbows, just work headbutts, elbows, knee the balls. You teach him how to bite and tear to create space. I could do a 2-hour class like that and have somebody, and I have done it thousands of times, have people feeling in their heart and soul that they could go out and defend their lives right now. Because when they leave, they don't come in with the same vision. And I got multiple testimonies on my website saying stuff like this. I've had people look at me and says, the most impressive thing right now is that I'm leaving with a totally different opinion of what I thought I was coming into.
Yeah.
Because everybody has perceived. Yeah.
You want like a wake-up call, yeah.
Especially in America, man, we're very prideful. We're especially the men here. The men here.
Yeah, say again.
The men here, they think that every man is almost like, and I'm sure y'all have, I know you have it there too, probably all over the world, but men almost, it's like it's bred in us to think that we're badasses. But how do you know if you're a badass if you've never had to fucking be a badass? Problem with the men in America. So they feel that it's dropping them down a notch to look at their wife and go, I think I need to take martial arts so that I get more educated with real violence, just in case something ever happens to you and the family, honey. What do you think? You never hear that shit in American houses. Most of the time now, it's men looking at their wives and going, I want to do some MMA. I got the tap out. Let's go do some MMA.
Yeah.
Because men already think that they can defend themselves, even though they have no previous knowledge proving their hypotheses. That's the hardest thing for combatives instructors here.
Yeah. And I'm thinking right now really to focus on breaking down the soft skills. I want to have like a deep dive into the soft skills and just break down the soft skills and have that for people that are not fighters, basically. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Because that's the truth, is that 90% of the situations could be avoided with proper awareness, proper situational, environmental, behavioral awareness. And
Yeah.
once again, like, 9 out of 10 situations could be de-escalated with the proper de-escalation, tactics.
Nobody here teaches that shit. Very few. You
Oh,
named a few that do.
well,
The
there are
Craig
a
Douglas and those guys in the
not a lot.
UK. Y'all got more. Y'all have more in the UK because this is why I think I've thought about this. In the UK, y'all's laws restrict y'all from so much that you had to think outside of the box a little quicker than we did. We had this like cookie cutter martial arts shape come through the 80s, and all these martial arts schools started opening here in America. In because it was easy to make money in the 80s, and money was worth a little more in the 80s, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
All these people got big real quick because they had structure. They were teaching Taekwondo, karate, kicking up and on the floor. Everything was structured. Nobody ever walked in a Taekwondo school in the 80s and go, "Hey, instructor, can you teach me about combative mindset? Can you teach me what chemicals my body relinquishes in a time is life adrenaline pump situation? Can you teach me about tunnel vision? Can you teach me what happens when your hearing shuts off and you get the auditory declination in your stomach and you may even shit yourself?" Nobody ever walked in a Taekwondo school back then and asked those questions because they didn't think they needed them.
Yeah.
And through that, though, MMA came and all those disciplined martial arts schools dropped off because MMA was the new thing. Guess what? MMA is the same way. Nobody ever goes to their coach before sparring on Saturday and go, "Coach, can you help me? Can you help me wrap my hands? Hey, coach, are we gonna talk about why we shit ourselves in violent situations today after sparring?"
Yeah.
Nobody ever says that because they don't think they need it, because now the TV's showing you two guys with a ref on a padded floor in a cage with your coaches around you after watching 5 months of the guy you're fighting's videotapes. They think that's reality.
Nah, it's
perception.
Perception. Yeah, exactly. I just put it that way. I think that I still love MMA purely for the attributes that it brings you to train in grappling. I have a good striking base, a good grappling base. I think is very, very important. But there are rules. There's a shitload of rules in MMA that if you would take these rules away, now the whole dynamic of everything would change now.
And people will get hurt and cut. But let me tell you something, though. It goes beyond the rules. You got to have rules, or people will get hurt and lose money. I remember working for the New Orleans Police Department, and the biggest thing they used to always tell me was blood is bad press. They used to always tell me blood is bad press. So when I would teach something, they go, "Oh, that's going to make us bleed. That's going to make that person." So I had to, and a lot of that shit helped me through the years in my own situations because I had to modify stuff to the police department.
Yeah.
That's one other story that's going in my book, actually. But look, listen. My mind right now is taking on 5 different levels right now. So what was we talking about? I'm sorry. I went out to the police thing.
We're talking about MMA. We were talking about
yes.
You remember?
So the problem is it's not about those rules. You got to have the rules. It's about the environment will never fit violence.
Yeah.
That environment, you can't pluck that environment. I can't pluck 30,000 people in a cage with 2 shirtless guys with cups on and cute little shorts and put them in fucking Chicago right now. Did you see the news with Chicago? What's going on right now?
No.
Last night it was just it was swarms of people just burning cars and Molotoving people, beating old women up at the red lights.
Really?
If I took that arena and put that there in Chicago, it'd be utter chaos. It'd be murders. It'd be because it's 2 different things, guys. I love MMA too. And those fighters today, I wouldn't want to fight them. They're fucking amazing. I mean, they're amazing. I'm not saying I wouldn't decimate them if I had my hands on them in a street fight. But what I am saying is I'm not going to get in a cage with any one of them. Even if I had a training team to prepare me, I'm just not that guy anymore. the way they train, the way they cut weight, which I think the way they cut weight today is so dangerous, but that's a whole nother story. But all that shit is discipline, but none of it is really fighting. You give 30,000 people one brick, put the MMA people in, say, ready, you ready, let's get it on, and everybody throws bricks at them, that's fucking fighting. That's chaos.
Yeah, violence. Yeah.
That's violence. So they don't correlate. So I don't understand why people can't respect something and even train in it, because I'm not saying it's not good for you, but you also have to dedicate a portion of your time to somebody to shake your skull and go, that's not real. Getting run over is because somebody in a road rage incident, which happens all the time, that's real. How do you do that? What are you going to do when your ankle's out? You got to, that's violence. And I know I went medical there, but you get my point. Nobody talks about shit like that, you know? So, and you know what else? Nobody talks about you always talk about the de-escalation skills. That's so important.
Yeah.
Name an MMA instructor that teaches that, or a taekwondo or karate school. Name a boxing coach that teaches that. You think Mayweather, when he's training some of his little guys, he stops and talks about, violence, de-escalation skills and stuff. It's obsolete. So what happens is we all get put in these boxes and we all get filed away as something. I've strived to be multi-box checked off. I got the martial arts skills if you just want the martial arts. I got the real violence, dirty, gritty shit if you just want that. If you just want the Filipino martial arts, I can swing a stick for a week straight without getting sore. If you want to learn some real street grappling or some like catch wrestling, I'm not going to teach you I'm not going to get on my back in a shell position and teach you gi jiu-jitsu. That's not me. I will teach you some dirty catch stuff, some dirty shoot stuff. But I got that. But if you just want the dirty violence, I got that too. Try to check a lot of the boxes, but it's sad that we all got to be put in boxes. Why not just be a martial arts combatives instructor who strives to teach people how to save lives?
Yeah.
People like boxes. People like labels. If you're not doing jiu-jitsu, you're not doing real martial arts. I had an old man one time. I was buying a knife. I was 22 years old. This was in Tennessee. I was buying a knife from him. And I was already heavily into Filipino martial arts. I mean, I've been doing Filipino martial arts since I was 11, 12, 13. So he comes in and he looks at me and he takes the knife out and he puts it reverse grip and he goes, if you don't hold a knife like this, you don't know how to fight with a knife. He put a label. You know what I mean? He put a fucking, at 21 years old, I'm like, okay, I mean, maybe, I don't know. I mean, you're older than me. So you have labels on shit, and the bottom line is people hate to deviate off of their labeled box. Me, I like digging in other people's boxes, if you understand what I'm saying. Because they got knowledge, and I'm going to steal that shit, and I'm going to make it my own, and I'm going to develop from it. I think that's how martial arts should be. We're sharing. We're all fucking sharing. You're not going to get that Jikuno. You get it in the combatives world right now. Me and you are both combatives guys too, and you're also a very, very good Jikuno man. You do some FMA, and you do. So we're still chatting. We're not like over here going, well, you're doing this wrong. You need to have your foot turned on a more little angle here. You need to that doesn't look like Bruce Lee footwork. There's none of that going on. You know, people need to quit bickering, start training.
Yeah, no, I do agree with that. There's nothing wrong with a nice chat when you actually you're learning something from it on both sides. That's great. That's called sharing. That's why it's all about the energy that we feed to the conversation. So I'm that sort of person like you. When I was a bit younger, I was getting into countless arguments on Facebook, and I'd be hours.
I mean, the morning sunlight would be coming up, and I'm like, "What am I doing with my life?"
I can't do it. Yeah, I can't do it anymore. I'm like, you know what? If I feel the negativity, I'm out. I'm just out, man. I got no time for that shit, man.
You're not going to
learn and share. You know what I mean?
You're not going to convince anyone to. This is the thing too. Listen, I never try to convince anyone to believe what I believe.
Yeah.
What I try to do is just plant some extra seeds in their thought process to examine when it grows to see if they can add it to what their belief is. You know what I mean? Because knowledge is power. You know what I mean? I mean, that's the truest thing. And when we're talking about something as important as life and death, as saving, you got a new girlfriend, I got a woman that I couldn't live without for 12 years now. I know that if 10 guys with bats jumped on her, there's gonna be lots of fucking bloodshed. Even if I'm dead at the end, everyone's bleeding. I know that. I know it. I just, it's not, can I do that? It's without a doubt. People are bleeding when this is done, everyone. So nobody wants that bullet in the chamber because nobody thinks they need it. And that's what's scary, because with the reality of the world right now, you need it more than ever.
Yeah,
we need it more than fucking ever.
Yeah, things
nobody ever thinks it's going to happen to them. But statistically, and this is true, I read this the other day. I tell you, I keep track of statistics for my own, but also I put them in some of my notes and classes and stuff. Yeah. But I'm fixing to go get my gun. You fix to see my gun when I shoot this. I better not say that online. I'm gonna throw water at this cat. So I always say that sometimes. I'm like, I'm gonna go get my hammer, Brittany. This cat, she goes, shut up, you big softy. I'm like, okay. Then the cat comes slip on my chest all night. So my point is, we're so ego driven sometimes. You don't want to ask the questions that are gonna make you look like you don't have the answers. That's what's sad with the world right now. And people want the answers just given to them, and they don't want to question them, like on the media, for example. You take all that shit in, you go, okay, that must be what it is. You don't question shit.
Yeah.
You don't research on your own. There's no free thought. I compare the media shit to the Jeet Kune Do world.
Oh yeah,
really
mainstream.
Really to the mainstream, but like it's hearsay and it's memes and we're getting our education from the wrong sources now. You know, the best source of education is self-reflection sometimes. The best source of education is just to breathe, close your eyes, sit for an hour, and fucking dig deep. When was the last time people dig deep into themselves, you know? That's the best source of education. The best source of education is coming back to shit that you thought you abandoned years ago and looking at it with different eyes. That's educational to me.
Yeah.
You know?
That's
and I get so much. Yeah. And I got so much of a wealth of knowledge that I've put on videos. I was one of the first guys I was selling VHS tapes with I had a little cheap printer. I'd print a little logo on it, put the logo on it. And then I bought like a stack of 5 VHS sleeves for like $5 back then. And I would sell VHS tapes back in 98. And I look at that footage now and I'm like, oh, we need to burn all of these. But back then, people were like, dude, you're ahead of the curve. You know what I mean? I may release some of those eventually. I got a lot of old archive stuff from the mid-90s even.
It's good to have archives. I'm going to spend the next 3 to 5 years to actually building that archive of video tutorials and stuff like that, man.
Film everything, brother.
Yeah.
I tell this to people all the time. Film everything. There are people I know that are lifelong martial artists that have been doing it longer than both of us together.
Yeah.
Who are relatively, now they're known in their box and they're known in their organization, but they're relatively unknown around the world. I get people, I travel to places. Brittany used to laugh at this so much. Before we moved to Florida, we've been here going on 4 years now. Before we moved here, the reason why we wanted to move here, well, A, because it's Florida. We love the sunshine and the beach. But also, I had 2 to 3 seminars here a year in different areas. So what we would do was we would drive up 12 hours from Tennessee, 12 to 14 hours. We would drive up, and then I would do the seminar and get paid for it, and I would use the money on the vacation. So I never once went home with money because we would just spend every dime in Florida, go home with barely gas money, right?
Yeah.
We did that for years, 5-6 years. And so taking it way back about 6-7 years ago, I had a seminar in Tampa. And we came here, we got a motel room. We go up to the cashier to pay for the room, and it's a young college kid. And he goes, Guru Billy Brown? I'm like, yeah, do I know you? He goes, I watch all your videos online. So it was shocking to me that hopefully I helped him in some way, never knowing him. We'll never see him again. Hopefully I helped him in some way. And it breaks my heart that guys that have been in it longer than us would have had a wealth of shit, but they didn't have cameras in your pockets back then.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know? And now I get on him like my instructor, one of my main instructors, Grandmaster Brad Whitlow. I get on him all the time. And he does. He's learned. He's listened. The old guy, I love him to death. He films it, but he doesn't put it out. Like, well, I'll look at it. I'm like, you're 65 years old, dude. Start putting shit out. You know, start getting, you know what I mean? Start getting everything out there, you know? And let me tell you, he's one of the most gifted martial artists in the world still. This man wakes up every morning. He's down to 185, 190 pounds, 64 years old, almost 65. His property, he has that camp with the bamboo and the rivers and the outfield horses, heavy bags hanging from the trees, boat ramps. I mean, they throw plastic knives at you when you run. I mean, it's like a whole thing. He'll run it for 3 miles every morning at 64 years old, up in hills and jumping over logs. But yet, and let me tell you, and also in his younger days, in the 80s and 90s, he traveled the globe kicking the shit out of people. Italy, Korea, Russia. He went to Russia when they had their Civil War. They had to get bodyguards. He broke it's been a long time. Who cares? He broke a Russian mafia's guy finger that was trying to they were carrying Uzis, these Russian mafia guys. He went up there and fought the Russian team like Best of the Best. You ever saw Best of the Best? The Taekwondo movie, Best of the Best?
I'm not sure, bro.
You got to see it. See that shit. But it's great. But if you just want to watch some great striking, it's with the Ree brothers, Grandmaster or Master Simon Ree, Master Philip Ree. They're both exceptional dudes. And because of social media, I've been able to talk to them through the years. Best Taekwondo, Aikido, such great, and they're also both very famous, especially Simon, very famous stuntmen in Hollywood. You've seen them in Lethal Weapon. Every movie you've seen Simon Ree. Look at his credits. Every action movie he's probably in it, getting killed or something. Anyway, that's what it was like. It was like one country fighting another country, and they went there under guns. I mean, he said missiles were shooting outside of their apartments. The man did all that, but guess what? The world doesn't know him. The world doesn't fucking know him, and it should know these people, because these people paved the way for guys like us. Jeff Thompson, he's a smart one. The world knows Jeff. Jeff filmed shit. He made videos early on. The world knows him, and from Jeff, you had people from the branches like Lee trickle off, and other people. And Lee too got in because he saw Jeff doing it, so he went into the videos and stuff. So the world's knowing him. He's not even as known as he should be, probably because he's way there. You know what I mean? Like you said, if he moved to America, he'd probably, I mean, he would get so much fucking work here. He'd get so much work here. I'd want to be on every seminar. Just let me teach an hour after you do your thing. You know what I mean? But he would be there, because he has that platform. I'm getting that platform. I'm developing it, but even I did it wrong at the beginning because I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. I didn't know how to really market myself, So I lost years with that. But
marketing is like marketing's got to be the most transferable skill that you can have, because it doesn't matter what you do. Doesn't matter what type of business you're into. If you can market yourself, then you as long as you have a good product, as long as you have a quality product.
Yeah. My problem is I never had the upfront money to do it. You know what I mean? Really good marketing, man. You gotta spend it, man.
You gotta spend a bit of money, Or you gotta learn to do everything yourself, or you need to spend some money,
So I'm happy right now. I just rely on word of mouth, and I have my websites, and they do great. And I sell videos every week still, so it's still moving forward. Would I prefer 20 videos every week instead of 1 or 2? Yeah, 30. But you how big do you want to be? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I look at Hawk. Hawk to this day, you familiar with Hawk Hakeem, right?
Yeah.
Okay, great combatives guy. A lot of real world experience. His teaching is very basic and analytical, but very effective. You know, and he knows it. I mean, he spent time with Remy Prius, spent time with Dan Osano, spent a lot of time with Paul Bunnock. I mean, Hawk has been around the block more than any of us.
Yeah.
And he has one of the most exhausting seminar. Like he's in right now, I think he's in Italy. I mean, I forgot I saw his post. He's in Italy or somewhere like that. Anyway, him and Dan Osano, I couldn't do that. I don't think I could be on a plane every fucking weekend. I really don't. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think anyone has more of a schedule than Dan Osano. Before COVID, let's talk. I don't know what it is like now. But, like, I read something that he's only home 3 weekends out of the year. For weekends. Like, he'll have a couple weeks where he's home, where he teaches at the academy, but then he's in another country. I couldn't do that, man. I don't know how he's doing at 85 years old. Hawk, he's 60. So, or maybe older, maybe even older. He's 65 probably. And he's still doing it. I don't think I could do that. So how big do you want to get? That's the question. I want to be able to make ripples worldwide, but in a smaller way than me being there, probably.
Yeah.
I know I can make ripples. If I had the money and the finances, private jet, boom, bring me here. I never want to get that big. It's not me. If I can make some little ripples worldwide through videos and through content and then touch people through martial arts, through seminars, I'm happy. I think I'm happy, you know?
Yeah, that's the same thing here, man. As long as I can help people, you know, helping people, as many people as I can, do something that I love and live from it, you know, that's all. What else? That's what makes you happy, innit? What else do you need? I think happiness is the highest goal, innit?
Yeah. And you know, I really enjoy empowering others. That look, man, that I get from them, you know, like I've been I've been in hundreds of real life altercations. Yes, I did a little of the full contact kickboxing in my younger days, the sporting aspect of it. Yes, I did this and that, this and that. But when it comes down to, if I'm remembered as a good instructor who changed lives in some way, that's all I need. All that other shit can be forgotten as far as I know. If I was able to empower people in some way through this journey, don't know when it's going to end, but through this journey that I have, I'm content.
Yeah.
You know? So
that's what it is. Should we start thinking about wrapping up?
Yeah.
Save
everybody that said hi, Greg Woods. Really great conversation. Glad you were here, sir. Yeah.
Oh, is there any comments?
Yeah, there's a few. Crime rate, violence increasing worldwide since COVID. Not looking good.
Oh shit, man! I just saw comments in there. Let's have a quick look. How to have a combative mindset.
Yeah, I think he asked this question last time. We've covered so much of that, though, sir. If you just look through that, I mean, we can definitely go deeper into that. And I'm actually, I have a book coming out called "Opening Your Combative Mindset," and I don't know when that's coming out because I have 2 more that's before that. But yeah, opening your combative mindset. I think it's important. But we cover a lot of that. You research on your own.
Yeah, that there's a lot of good people to research. I think Lee Morrison is definitely one of the best guys to listen to when it comes to mindset. You got Geoff Thompson, his old videos as well are really good on that. I mean, there are a good few people out there.
Go on. My Fight Stoppers 1 online video series talks about combative concept a lot. Fight Stoppers Unhinged goes more into the just brutalness of it. I do talk about it some there too, though. But Fight Stoppers 1, we go into combative mindset a lot. So if you want to get that online video series, you can just visit my website. You want me to drop that right here?
Yeah, drop that, man.
My website is www.proactionvideos.com. Progressive Production. So it's www.proactionvideos.com. And you can look at all the videos. I got a lot of other videos on there that talk about combative mindset too. So yeah, just look through them all.
Good stuff. What we can do next time, we can in fact, what we could do is ask people what they want us to talk about, and just drop it. Yeah, that'd be a good idea actually. I'll see. So if we think of doing something like that, maybe in a couple of months, and what we do is,
and we can do one next time, maybe strictly on combative mindset, and then go into maybe some of the physical applications of that. You know,
I think that would be an interesting topic to cover, because actually quite a few people asking that question, and I mean, I worked a lot on my mindset, but there's been a time when I was actually looking for that information also. So I understand people that are looking for that information. So next time, Billy, what we'll do is focus on that, the combative mindset, deep dive into it, and how we can, the various drills also that we can do in order to create that switch, that mental switch. Yeah?
I like it. I like it a lot.
Good stuff. So yeah, always a pleasure, man. Always a pleasure. Looking forward to next time.
Yeah.
And, I hope.
And then we'll do another one, guys, where we talk just about aliens and ghosts.
Oh yeah, aliens and ghosts. Yeah. Just like a special, like a limited edition one.
Yeah.
Why not? No problem, brother. Then I'll let you go, man.
All right, are you putting this on YouTube? Send me the link when it goes on YouTube.
Which one?
Are you putting this video on YouTube?
Which videos?
This is what we just did.
Oh, this one. Yeah. It's on. So it's live on my YouTube.
Okay.
If you go on Adrenaline Combatives, the YouTube channel, Adrenaline Combatives, and you go into the live sections, and you will find the first one that we did, and you'll find this one, and all the rest of those that I did.
All right, I'm gonna share it. I think it was a good talk today.
Yes, man, it was.
All right, buddy. Have a good one. Enjoy your sunshine. It's not raining, but it's overcast here.
Yeah, it's back to gray now.
This weekend, I'm going to be freezing my butt off in Libertyville, Illinois. But it's going to be fun. I'm teaching at a big school with a lot of people. I'm going to be in heaven.
That's what we want, brother.
Yeah.
All right, bro.
Have a good one, guys.
Take care, brother.
Bye-bye.